Welcome to Swim Radio, Students Welcoming Intense Media, your music podcast promoting community service events, students and artists who donate their talent, current campus news, and what's happening in music and the arts today. Today we are going to introduce you to two women making history, Patty Carpenter and Vicki Peak from Pink Taxi.
Pink Taxi is a non-traditional taxi service with an altruistic attitude, servicing all segments of a traditional taxi service, yet donating a percentage of their profits to causes dedicated to eradicating breast cancer.
Welcome to the studio, guys. How are you doing?
Hi.
today?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us today. This is great.
We love having you here.
Yeah.
It's great.
Tell us a little bit about yourselves prior to Pink Taxi and how the business came about.
Well, prior to Pink Taxi, I've always been in the traditional taxi cab business. That's where my career was spent the last 25 years of my life, actually, in suburban cabs. And I came about this because I had a history with cancer myself and always really wanted to mix these two industries, wanted to promote myself that way, promote my company that way. And Vicki came on board with me really early on. She was one of the first people who actually latched onto this. And so that's the direction we're coming from. Cab service, but cab service with my twist. Different, totally different. And Vicki had no cab experience.
I came from corporate America, Fortune 500, Yellow Pages industry, and after 9/11, when a lot of crazy things happened, lost my job, and raising two kids by myself, I had to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And a friend of mine, my concrete contractor, Bill McQuillan, is friends with Patty and Lee and Mike, and had mentioned that Pink Taxi was hiring, and I'm like, a Pink Taxi? I don't drive taxis. That's an industry that you hear things about. And then when I saw the car and fell in love with the car, and then I met Patty and Mike and fell in love with Patty and Mike and what they're doing. I mean, what company donates 15% of their profits to anything these days? So, I mean, to feel good about what you're doing every day, to be a part of that, and knowing that you're not just, I'm just not a taxi driver. I'm helping, it's a win-win-win. I'm helping people with breast cancer, and eventually, as we get bigger, we'd like to donate to other cancers as well, but we had to pick one, and Pink was the, everybody knows what that's about. So it's a win for the breast cancer field and finding a cure, and not only a cure, but we also work with the Why Me Foundation, and they give support to women who have just found out that they have cancer. So it's a hotline that they can call. It's the Why Me Foundation. Then it's a win for me and other people who have been unemployed to be able to come into a position with no background in it at all and be able to work and make cash on a daily basis. And thirdly, it's a win for our customers, because I hear a lot of our passengers say, they tell me horror stories and they're afraid to get in a traditional taxi cab. So we kind of are changing. I kind of feel like we're a paradigm shift of the industry, because we're kind of combining the customer service style of a limousine with a taxi cab service. So parents can feel comfortable having their children that we pick up from the high schools when they're sick. They're comfortable, whether it's, we do have a lot of female drivers, we do have male drivers as well, but they can feel comfortable putting their children in our cab and getting there safely. Even adults thank us for driving safely and getting in a clean cab and being able to have a conversation with somebody who speaks English, who drives safely and isn't talking on their phone the whole time. And we all are ambassadors, the drivers, because even though we're just drivers, we're really not just drivers, because we're helping the community. We volunteer our time, our cabs, and I just think it's a wonderful cause, and I can't wait till we go national.
This is a very multifaceted idea. It's so not an untraditional, non-traditional way of taxi cab. Taxi cab is just taxi cab, and they're out there. That's our vehicle to be able to provide all of these things that she's talking about right here, right now. We are in the suburbs. We are not really particularly in Chicago. We'd love to get into the Chicago market, but right now we are really promoting growth in the suburban areas. And but it's like I said, it's a very multifaceted idea, because not only does it really have the chance to change and make a difference for cancer, it can change and make a difference in people's lives for employment. There's 60,000 female vets in this country. 60,000 female vets in this country that are out of work. And there's government money for them to find and buy a cab, buy their own franchise. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking to take it to another level, but it's starting very small. It's like a grassroots element, grassroots effort to be able to start this. This is much different than just being a taxi cab or a taxi cab driver. I could never get people like Vicki to come on with me and do that if it was just driving a cab.
Yes.
It has a big idea behind it and a big push.
Yeah, I think it's an incredibly dynamic company to think not first with the money side, but with the cause, helping people. I think that's just absolutely incredible. And you're not just an average taxi cab company in that sense, but you also offer other services.
When we do an event, a cancer event, like say with the Why Me Foundation, what we did through the month of October, it was 4 days of intense taxi driving for their metastatic breast cancer patients that come in and raise all of their money for the year in a gala that happens on a Sunday after being in town for 4 days. We picked them up at the airport, we transported them all over the city, and we then donated. We were free transportation to them, but we tracked all of the money that we spent, and it came to a $3,000 donation. In that circumstance, we didn't even give 15% back. We entirely gave $3,000 back to the Why Me Foundation.
Wow, that's
So,
incredible.
yeah, I mean, that's how it works. That is really, it's designed to give 15% back, but when we did a big job like that, we gave it entirely back to them. And we actually kept people as employees. The girls were paid as event drivers in that case. So we do a couple different things with schools. Like on Saturday night, we're actually doing an event with a little school in Park Ridge that they are so interested in doing this, and we are not going to charge them any money. We're just saying tip our drivers, and there's a donation. We're asking for a donation to breast cancer. So we kind of are easy about how we set this thing all up, but eventually it'll be 15%. So you can imagine, we're 5 little cabs in the city of Chicago, outside in the suburb Park Ridge, Illinois. We're 5 little cabs, and yet we made that kind of a donation to the Why Me Foundation. That's pretty incredible. What could we do with 500 cabs? What could we do with 5,000 cabs? It's a very, very big idea.